Hello everyone, welcome to round 11. It's great to be with you. Nico Christiansen, 10-0, Jonathan Dearie, 9 wins, no losses and a draw at his 28 points. We are in round 11 and you're going to see Nico Christiansen against Jonathan Dearie. And just want to say, hi Mum and Dad, hello Mr. and Mrs. Dearie, back at home. Your boy's doing great. There he is. Just having a fantastic run here, one of only 2 undefeated players left in the tournament that began with 806 players, and Nico Christiansen is going to get us going, and I'm pretty fair to wager that that is a champion of the parish. The beatdown hath begun.
It has indeed. If Jonathan has any way to get that champion of the parish off the table as soon as humanly possible, he is going to do it. That thing is going to get huge. All the creatures in Nico's deck are humans, and it's going to... that champion of the parish is going to be a 4-4 or 5-5 in 2 turns.
So it would be as soon as humanly possible.
Did I say that?
You did.
You're rubbing off on me, I think.
I am not. It's the chair. Moving on. Champion of the parish up against Augur Bolus.
See that there's a frontline medic now. An ideal situation here for Nico is to play a, it looks like he's got a Boros Elite. I was going to say a Burning Tree Emissary into some other, like into a... Mayor of Averbrook is an absolutely explosive beginning, but it looks like it's going to be Experiment 1 into Boros Elite. So as predicted, this champion of the parish can already swing through that Augur of Boros.
That's right, and also the Boros Elite now, the battalion is set up for next turn. There's going to be frontline medic, assuming that, yeah, we can see that there's a land there for Nico Christiansen. So there'll be a frontline medic coming down. When that attacks, then everything's indestructible. This is already deep pressure. So these are the 2 undefeated players. Remember, Christensen 10-0, Dearie in fact 9-0-1.
Ah, yeah.
As he takes 2 damage, which is kind of bad news.
He can't be happy about that. I think we're going to see a Searing Spear hit this champion.
Yeah, let's get that dead. And then he passes with 1 mana up.
So what is he? I guess he really wants to get that Thought Scour off. He's going to pay 2 life to do it here. Unless he has something else like an unsummon or something. We have seen that occasionally in Standard.
I don't believe he has one, certainly not main.
Okay. All right, so here's the Burning Tree Emissary.
Now, is that going to lead to more? We see Evolve on Experiment 1. 2 mana. Add. There's Frontline Medic. Evolve Experiment 1 once again. And now we're into Experiment 1. Moving in, the battalion triggers are waiting in the wings for next turn.
I'll Thought Scour myself.
And there is the Thought Scour. So away goes Sphinx's Revelation and Snapcaster Mage. And that's actually fine, because Sphinx's Revelation is such a late game card in this matchup. He doesn't want that cluttering up his hand any time before about turn 8 or 9, realistically.
I figured out why he prioritized that Thought Scour so highly.
Okay.
He's got Harvest Pyre in hand. I'm pretty sure he's got a Harvest Pyre, so I think that that's why he wanted to pay the 2 life and make sure that he has a live Harvest Pyre this turn, because now he can use it to take out something. You know, he can take out the frontline medic. He can, he could even use it to shrink down the Experiment 1, whatever it is that he wants to do. But he's got 4 cards in his yard now, so you know, killing that frontline medic would be a good start. Another thing about Sphinx's Revelation, Rich, that you were just talking about is there is a frontline medic on the table too, so he's going to have to kill that before he even gets to resolve it. All right, he's going to go for another Thought Scour here, and he sees Boros Reckoner and another Sphinx's Revelation hit the graveyard, but now he's got a ton of cards in there. Let's see if he does have that Harvest Pyre. I see a red card at the back of his hand. I can only assume that that's what it is based on the way that he's played.
2.
Yep, here comes removal time.
Here comes some removal. 3. It looks like Nico's tapped out, so it looks like he... And
no giant growth in response.
He must know what's there, because, yeah, he's just going to main phase. He's not going to let any triggers happen. He's not going to let him untap at all. He's just going to get it. So there's the Harvest Pyre. And he's going to ship the turn back. Now, Jonathan is by no means out of the woods here, though. He's facing down 2 3/3s, essentially, and a 2/2. So there's going to be 8 power at least coming at him here on this attack step.
There we go.
He's going to prevent 2 of it and keep his Augur of Bolos alive, but 6 to the face is going to drop him down to 6.
There's a Boros Elite and an Experiment 1 left in Christensen's hand to go with that Stomping Ground, which of course he can just play tapped. No need for that mana right now. And I guess the question is, how far do you go here? Because obviously there is the possibility of board sweepers. There's one Supreme Verdict, one Mizium Mortars sitting in Dearie's deck.
And you know that Nico is going to be aware of that, so he doesn't want to fully overextend with that other Experiment 1, and he is just going to drop the Boros Elite. What that's going to do is it's going to create 3 threats that must be dealt with. He's got the way to block one of them, but he's going to have to come up with another way to get in front of one of these creatures on the attack step. So let's see if this is, in fact, the big Supreme Verdict, and it's not.
I mean, it's not terrible.
Angel. It depends on what he hits here, but you're right, it's not terrible. It means that Jonathan is probably alive for the next attack, but Nico has a lot of stuff. Now, this is an interesting situation because as the board sits, if Nico had played that Experiment 1, he would win, and he just drew Syrian Spear, which should do it. So
yes, so
block, Syrian
there.
Spear you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're at not very much, and now you're at minus some.
You know, those Syrian Spears have been very kind to Nico. We saw him draw one at a very opportune time as well. I don't know how many he's running off the top of my head here. I think he's got all 4, but
got the full suite.
Yeah.
So, in short order, Nico Christiansen, who we saw last round briefly, winning 2-0, is 1-0 up here over Jonathan Dearie, and it's a kind of tough matchup for John. Certainly on what we've seen so far, because Christiansen's just brutally fast.
He really is. So let's see what Dearie can bring in out of the sideboard here to help shore up this matchup. You'd think that the Supreme Verdict would be the go-to play here, but I'm taking a look at his sideboard. He doesn't have any.
No. He is not about mass removal because he only has 1 Mizium Mortars main, 1 Supreme Verdict main.
Yeah.
Neither are available in the board. His board consists of 2 Tormod's Crypt, which is certainly not relevant. 3, is it Staticaster?
That's an interesting choice.
See,
it feels
if
like
it costs
too
2,
slow. Yeah,
you'd be like ka-ching.
Yes.
Because you think of all those Boros Elites and those 1/1s when they come down.
Yeah.
And you know, and copies of and multiples of things. So if you play a couple of Boros Elite, like in that game, and then down comes a Staticaster and kill them both. I mean, that's good, but it costs 3.
Yep.
He is on the play, though.
He is going to be on the play.
Is this one of those cards that you might bring in for game 2 because you're on the play?
Absolutely.
And you might then take out again if it's 1/1 and you're on the draw?
I mean, I'm just looking at his deck, and, you know, he's running like some random things that aren't going to be good in this matchup at all. Right, and his sideboard is not designed to beat this type of deck. He's got Jace Memory Adepts, he has Dispels, Negate, Psychic Spirals, Geist of St. Traps, Thundermaw, Hellkite, Boros Charm. None of these, again, you mentioned Tormod's Crypt, none of these are good versus this matchup. Oh, it looks like we have a sneak peek here of Tormod's versus Nass.
Yeah, so Holtsinger, as you can see, is also getting mightily aggressive. He's got a Skursdag High Priest, a Knight of Infamy, Doom Traveller, Boros Reckoner, a very large Champion of the Parish. That's already up to 5/5. Nass, meanwhile, you see at the top right of your screen, well, that's his graveyard, and the reason that matters is he is all about the graveyard. He is one of the 11 players still in the event who are running the Human Reanimator strategy, featuring many of them this Breakout Undercity Informer loop. So we have Fiend Hunter coming down. He's got a Huntmaster of the Fells already in play. Little Avacyn's Pilgrim, not really relevant to his combo at all. And Undercity Informer, which absolutely is one of the key pieces. Also, Angel of Glory's rises into the graveyard. That's very important. That's where that wants to be. And at some point, Unburial Rites is what Matt Nass wants to do. But he is at 9 life, and Holtsinger has a lot of pressure on the table. So this is really about whether Holtsinger can get the door closed on Matt Nass before the chicanery commences.
That's right. Holtsinger is sizing up in a potential attack here. See, he has Orzhov Charm and Falkenrath Aristocrat in hand.
Yeah, this is smashing time.
This will be for 5.
Here comes Sacrifice from the Doom Traveler.
Yep, so that is going to make it 6. Does he just move in here is the question. He also has that Skursdag High Priest, so he can start making some 5/5 flyers if he doesn't think that Matt can go off next turn.
Meanwhile, we're underway in our game 2. Nico Christiansen up against Jonathan Dearie.
I'm assuming that game's just over by the time we get back to it.
May well be,
Yeah, so Champion of the Parish, ideal opener here for Nico. Dearie does have one of those Staticasters that we mentioned.
Oh, I see, yeah, so he did bring those.
Yeah, he had to, even though, honestly, these creatures do get big enough, quick enough that he's not going to be able to, I mean, if he gets one with it, he's going to be very happy about it.
Well, the thing is, what he will get is the Boros Elite. Because the Boros Elite is only a 1/1 until it's in the red zone, attacking as a 3/3.
Absolutely the case.
And those will just die.
Yes. And Lightning Mauler as well. So this is interesting because he's got an Izzet Charm. He's going to take out the Champion of the Parish here.
Yeah, and he's got a Searing Spear as well. Dearie's hand is set up very well to get to the mid game here, which is good because we quite like a game 3.
Yeah.
Apart from anything else, we want to see this giant growth in action from Nico Christiansen.
All right, so Searing Spear is going to hit the champion, and that's going to take away haste from Lightning Mauler, meaning that Jonathan takes no damage this turn at all.
16.
Now, here's a question. Land number 3 for Jonathan Dearie. Do you get the Staticaster made and the Lightning Mauler dead? Or do you go, hey, you know what? You are a guy who's about to play Experiment 1 as a 1/1. You're about to play Boros Elites as a 1/1.
Oh.
I'd quite like you to make some more 1/1s.
Yeah,
before
I just
I
pass
make
the
my
turn.
status.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Staticaster.
if he wants to use a giant growth to save his Lightning Mauler, that's fine.
Right.
Like, it's not the worst case scenario. You're still at 18 life, and it's fine. And he could just play, like, another Lightning Mauler into your Staticaster, and then you're just super happy.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to see what he does. It looks like he's going to start off with
Flint
Hoof Boar, and he says sure, because he's going to have to use it on this thing. He says give it haste.
Attack for 5.
And he's going to attack for 5. So this is going to be, is it Staticaster, and it's going to kill Lightning Mauler, and he's going to take 3. Now, Jonathan also has a Supreme Verdict in hand, so he's got a lot of options here on how he wants to play this game. But that is it Staticaster. Now that he's not under dire pressure, he's going to be able to really put a big dent in this game. Nico's going to need to find a Searing Spear to take that Staticaster out before he can really continue his plan in a lot of ways. Because now cards like Champion of the Parish are dead.
Boros Elite's dead.
Ooh, wow.
The other Lightning Maulers.
We see Restoration Angel is going to eat a Flint Hoof Boar, and Jonathan is looking in very good shape here.
Yeah, this is seriously going that way.
Yes. So he didn't have too many cards to bring in out of the board, but the ones he has have been very effective. Is it Staticaster? Now, again, if Nico gets off to an ideal start, Staticaster can often be too late. But in this case, it's fantastic. He can't even... He's going to play a Flint Hoof Boar.
Yeah. So, let's assume, as we continue to watch Game 2, that there will be a Game 3. We've seen Is it Staticaster be completely fine here. Do you keep it for Game 3 if you're Jonathan Dearie? Are you obliged to?
Yes, you
have
just
so
have
little
to.
else.
Yeah, I mean, there's cards in this match in his deck that just are not going to be cards that he wants to see, and this one at least has the opportunity to take out things like you mentioned, Rich. Really good point about Boros Elite. Also, Lightning Mauler, same thing.
And you see, we've just seen Nico draw a Boros Elite. He essentially skipped his draw step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jonathan used Is It Charm plus the ability from his Staticaster to take out that last boar. And right now, Nico Christiansen has taken tons of damage off of his own lands, and that's making that Restoration Angel a fairly quick clock. 3 turns as it sits. Nico is going to have to find a Searing Spear, and even then, he's not going to be in a great position as he's under a lot of pressure from that
far
Restoration
behind.
Angel. Yeah. Jonathan sitting at a pretty comfortable 15 here. It's not like Nico's deck is going to be able to deal that much damage in a quick hit, so he's looking to be in a good spot. Again, thanks to that, is it Staticaster? You were hoping for a game 3, and things are moving in that direction currently.
Yeah. Right along with Jonathan's parents.
Yep.
Watching at home.
Yep.
Hope you're enjoying the live coverage of your son on the internet. That's got to be a strange feeling.
It's got to be cool.
For mums and dads sitting at home watching their sons and daughters playing.
Yeah.
You know, live on a Sunday morning.
It's great.
It's like it's weird enough for children watching their dads commentate. It's like,
all right, it looks like Nico's drawn a land for the turn, and things have become too dire for him as he goes to the scoop phase, as we say. He's going to concede.
So that's 1-1. That's the first game we've seen Christensen lose today, and you see Jonathan Dearie there taking game 2. Tied at 1. In the background, you see Pedro Carvalho. He's in the feature match area. Also there, of course, Thomas Holtsinger and Matt Nass. They're still playing their round 11 match.
Now this is going to be a sweet one.
So the thing is, you know that the clock is ticking from the moment we say go, and by the end of 2 turns, this game could be functionally over.
It could be.
As we see land from Nico Christiansen and a champion of the parish, land on the other side from Dearie, turn 2 from Nico Christiansen, evolve, experiment 1, evolve, air quotes, a champion of the parish, Boros Elite, evolve champion of the parish, in.
Yep.
Second land on the other side, no play, go, we're pretty much done.
I mean, if Nico were to land something like a Mayor of Averbrook or something, that would be really good for him, as the first Staticaster hit would have to hit that, and in the meantime, Dearie would take 8 or 9 or something like that, and he could actually keep enough pressure up to kill him. But, you know, Dearie does have those 2 sweepers. He does have a decent amount of spot removal. He's got the Is It Charm. He's got Syrian Spears, single Mizium Mortars that he can just play for 2.
Now, you see, we're into game 2 in Holtsinger against Nass. Early doors in this one, but Holtsinger leads 1-0. That huge attack at the back end of game 1 was enough to avoid the graveyard chicanery of Matt Nass, who is already underway with a Fiend Hunter in his graveyard, and he's also got an Unburial Rites there, you see, so that's waiting to be flashed back later in the game and to start the huge combo loop, which is just devastating. I mean, again, we're talking about a turn 2 Boros Elite as potentially devastating in our first match, and here we're talking about Flyers bringing back 9 creatures as being potentially devastating.
And then milling as their opponent out as well. It's not even the creatures. It's so funny. Now, rest in peace for Thomas Holtsinger is going to be a huge dent in the game plan of Matt Nass. He's going to want to find an Abrupt Decay to take care of that rest in peace, so he can combo off. For now, though, he does have 2 pieces of the combo in play, and he's not really under much pressure. It's just one Falconwrath Aristocrat that can't even currently attack. So, yeah, Matt Nass could be in better position, but he could also be in a lot worse.
And that's the thing, when you're up against an aggressive deck, when they spend their turn and a card on rest in peace, yes, it's clearly a good thing, but there is a sacrifice for Holtsinger in doing that.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, for real.
Yeah, I was scared. I'm scared.
It was something we saw John Finkel do in the Players' Championship against Shodi Yasuoka. Basically didn't play the Stony Silences, which on the face of it would have been exactly what you wanted to kill the artifacts on the other side. And it was like, nope, the sacrifice is too great. If I do not win by spending my turn 2 getting rid of an Ether Vial.
There you go. So Falconwrath Aristocrat for Thomas Holtsinger bashes in for 4, and now Matt Nass has another Faithless Looting. Again, though, we have a Rest in Peace on the battlefield, and that means that Faithless Looting is not going to get flashed back, and these cards that Matt Nass is ditching here are also never coming back. They're all exiled. And it's beatdown time for Matt Nass as he turns his 2 guys sideways to hit for 4. Play a land untapped to drop to 12, and is this a Huntmaster of the Fells?
One presumes. Yep, here we go.
All right, he's going to gain 2 life back, get a wolf. That's definitely not a wolf, but it'll work, I suppose.
It's a white wolf.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
And
oh, wow. I did not see that this weekend yet. exalted
Oh,
all
wow.
over the battlefield. It's a sublime archangel,
Wow.
which it has exalted and gives all of your creatures exalted. So thanks to that, he's going to hitting for 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's awesome.
Sublime Archangel delivering a huge beatdown and putting Matt Nass on a 1-turn clock here. As he was at 14, he just took 7, and he's facing down 7 more power and toughness, so he needs another Huntmaster to survive the turn at least. Even then, if Holtsinger has another human, he can just kill him.
Players have shuffled and have looked at their opening hands. Are they both keeping? Because we don't want to miss a thing. Here we go. Rock and roll in our main match. It is a turn 1, I do believe, champion of the parish. Let's get back there.
No.
Because we are go, go, go. And as we said, 2 turns could be all it takes to put Nico Christiansen into a super dominant position. But let's see what Jonathan Dearie can come up with in these couple of crucial first turns. Well, the good news about the Hallowed Fountain is that it came into play tapped, so he stays at 20. Now,
This is a critical turn for Nico. He says, I'm going to take 2.
and that's bad news for Dearie. Is it just one? Oh, well, here we go. Burning Tree Emissary, counter on the champion of the parish.
Wow.
Here we go. Oh, Lightning Mauler. Put a counter on champion of the parish. Pair these bad boys up.
Wow.
Smash.
7 damage
Wow.
on turn 2, and we're talking
Opposite
about
a land.
attacking. He's facing a tapped land.
See?
This is going to yeah.
See what I
this is
mean?
what we
And so
talked about.
this is the turn 2 that everything counts. Now, if Dearie can lay a land and do something meaningful on this turn 2, here comes the land. Again,
He's
he
got an
manages.
Augur of Bolus, which
Well,
is going to
that's-
hold,
that is
hold back
meaningful.
some things.
Yep,
Yes.
it's a start. What does he find?
He finds his Searing Spear.
What you want, sure.
All right, so things are starting to move forward for Jonathan. The question is, what can Nico do here?
There's a Searing
He's
Spear.
got a Searing Spear in hand, so he can just hit his opponent for 7 if he wants. Let's see what he does. It looks like that's not the plan. He's going to take 2, and he's going to play a frontline medic here. Now, is he going to attack with everything is the
Counter.
question. He can attack with everything. He's going to give up his Lightning Mauler if he does that, but he's also going to hit for a ton of
And
damage.
he doesn't care because next turn he has frontline medics, still have battalion,
Yes.
they'll be indestructible.
This is 6 damage right here. He knows the Searing Spear's in Jonathan's hand, so he is putting the proverbial pedal to the metal here.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
next, he's going to save that Searing Spear to either get rid of the Augur of Bolus next turn, or he's going to send it at Jonathan's face to finish him off. He's got options. Jonathan does, in fact, block the Lightning Mauler, which is one of the only ways to kill.
Down to 7.
And what this is, likely is going to be is Jonathan is going to kill the frontline medic with his with his Searing Spear here on his turn, leaving Nico Christiansen with a 2-2 and a 4-4.
The thing is, then he has to basically chump block
He
the
does.
champion of the parish because if he decides to try and keep his Augur alive, he'll take 4 and drop to 3.
That's right.
And at that point, you're in Searing Spear range.
Right, which we know that Nico actually has in hand as
full-
well. So Nico is in
Yeah.
a very good position here. Again, we were talking about Staticaster a few minutes ago and saying how it can be too slow. This
Yep.
is one of those starts where it just, even if he had it right here, he might. I can't quite tell, but even if he did,
Does
it just
nothing.
would not do enough here.
Speed
It's
bump.
chump blocks, or it can get in the way of the Burning Tree Emissary. But it's interesting how this deck from Nico can get off to such a blazing, ridiculous fast start.
Yes.
I mean, he attacked for 7 on turn 2.
Yeah, I spotted that.
I can't remember the last time
That's
I've
quite
seen
rude,
this.
isn't it?
Yeah, that is. And right now, Jonathan looks like he's agonizing if he can play an untapped Shockland here. He's got a Steam Vents. Okay, that's a Sulphur Fall, so he just
Okay.
plays that and passes the turn back. Now
why
Giant
would
Growth
you-
is live.
I was going to say, why would you pass there? Because now you
well,
run into Giant
I don't know
Growth.
what else he has in his hand. So that's the real question.
Okay.
If he's got an Izzet Staticaster, I can see that. He's taking on a risk here, though. All right, so now he's just going to have to Searing Spear here. Yeah, so he did not play around Giant
Okay.
Growth, and he opened himself up there. I don't know what else he could have in
Maybe
his
he
hand.
didn't know that Giant... I mean, he may still not
That's
know that
absolutely
Christensen is Giant Growth guy.
That's absolutely
He's not wearing a
possible.
T-shirt.
He seemed to play around it in game 1, but who knows? And I mean, the best thing you can have here is a Thought Scour, I think. I don't think he's got any unsummons in the list, and he just says, sure, take 2.
Down to 5. The Augur is gone.
Second main.
Second main, Thalia.
Thalia.
And Thalia's incredible
And that
here because
turns off Supreme Verdict.
Supreme Verdict is not going to be able to happen.
Beating.
Huge play there for Nico as he can just sit there and stare at his opponent and say, what are you going to do about this?
Well, he gets potentially to stay alive one more turn. Because he goes Staticaster, block, shoot Thalia.
But then he's dead. He just Searing Spears him.
Oh, and he gets down to 3. And
I mean,
Searing
Nico
Spear
knows that, of course.
Yeah.
Jonathan doesn't. But you're
and
right.
that is the play now.
That is
for
absolutely
Dearie.
the play. Because Staticaster's a
Lock
creature.
champion, take out Thalia.
Yep.
And then die to Searing Spear.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Staticaster. I mean, you can do this either way. You can just Searing Spirit or whatever you want to do.
And
good game.
the hand.
Bang!
Man, that deck is fast.
Oh my good God! Nico Christiansen's
He looks
greatest
like
hits.
such a nice guy.
7 on turn 2.
Just hits you for a ton of damage as soon as possible.
11-0, and he's the only undefeated player in the building.